What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. Yesterday ended up being a good day. 6-3 overall in the association. I got there with a lot of stuff as the day went on, Rob Veno. I know I was, I'm still sick. I'm feeling a little better today, but yesterday it was like I was slow getting there. But by the end of the day, I felt more confident. So Blazers plus 4.5, Lakers money line, Nuggets minus 9.5, Cavs minus 10.5, Jazz team total under 111.5, Pistons minus 9.5. Those were all the winners. And then the losers were Keyshawn George over 13.5 points. He can't stay out of foul trouble. He's in foul trouble every game. And I know he still gets it, some of those games or, most of those games, but not yesterday. Grizzlies was a disaster. And the Mavericks, they just suck. So 6-3 overall. We'll try to keep that going here today. How you doing, Rob Veno?
I'm doing good, Skee, and I knew something was up because on X I saw you post the clip is loaded, so that's shooters shoot. Here we go. We're
You
gonna
know.
load up tonight. Yeah, I had a 2-1 yesterday in the
Nice.
NBA. What we left for the audience was the Sixers team total over 112.5. They got there pretty easily, high scoring game. We got there with the Portland team total last night, big fourth quarter out of them. I think the number was 112.5. They got over. The bad was really bad. I mean, what was I thinking laying 8.5 with the Dallas Mavericks? I got to be out of my mind.
And
But I
D'Lo
did
even
it.
started, but he stunk it up.
Yeah, I mean, it was not good. You can't lose at home to the Pelicans on this, and when the Pelicans are in the second of back-to-back, but they did. So it cost us there 2-1 NBA. Only one NBA game tonight, which is kind of lame for a Thursday night, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll deal with it. What Gilbert said, yeah, the Pelicans had so many injuries, they were forced to play Queen. He ended up be playing well for them, and they got the W. So that was interesting. We'll see if he starts to get some more minutes. He should. I mean, after that performance. All right, Vino, let's get to it. One NBA game, like you said, that is Clippers going into Phoenix to face the Suns. Open up minus, or the opener I have is 5.5 for the Clippers as a favorite. But we know Kawhi, James Harden got ruled out. Now we see Phoenix at -3. Total open 226, and it looks like it's as low as 223.5. Jalen Green is probable for this Phoenix side. They will not have Dylan Brooks, and then you have Grayson Allen also questionable. Um, a couple different ways I feel about this game, Rob. That total makes sense. I mean, how you're missing a hell of a lot of points. You're taking out Kawhi and James Harden. I mean, you're missing playmaking too. Um, just from that aspect, and you'll see more CP3, and he's not going to play super up tempo. I would agree with the total coming down. So starting there, how do you feel about that?
I would agree, and I'll tell you, at first I didn't because when I saw no Harden, no Kawhi, I thought, okay, maybe the Clippers will get a little quicker without them on the floor, and then you just go through the Clippers top 10 and you realize they're not getting quicker no matter who's out. They got 10 guys that don't move. You get Bradley Beal now, a little more of him, like you say, a little more Chris Paul, probably some Brook Lopez. I mean, it goes on and on. So it's a slow-footed team, obviously. I like this quote and a couple of things here. I was reading somebody who wrote, since Ty Lue's face was seen at a poker game, the Clippers are 1-4 against the spread.
I
So
like that one.
it ain't going good for Ty Lue, who I guess berated his team. I'll read you the quote. You might have heard it already. After the game, Lue said he was sick of the same old shit over and over after they lost at home versus Miami. He was referring to their turnover problem. The next game, LA was waxed at home by OKC, and they turned it over 19 times. So obviously, whatever he's saying, they're not listening. I think to start the year, we might have had them pegged. At least I followed your lead, a team that's real slow, that's not going to do all that much. I don't know what the preseason hype about them really was. It's a chance for Phoenix to take advantage, Skee. If nothing else, I think they're fifth in the league in steals. They get beat. Well, somebody just posted right there, Phoenix Revenge. They get beat 129-104 to start the season, maybe the second game or so. So you could throw that in there too. I just don't like the fact that this game has moved 8.5 points. Do you really want to get on the wrong end of that? But I could build a case for the Phoenix Suns here. We'll see. I didn't play. I got to be honest. I didn't play either way. After hearing what you said, I think maybe the under sounds the most reasonable of things that we've talked about.
Yeah, not only is it, double digit revenge, well, actually, yeah, it's the third game in 4 nights for the Clippers too, right? So, I mean, you see all the guys out already. It looks real easy to go take the Suns. I'll tell you that. Whoever's been at home in Suns games have covered the spread, 8-0. It looks very, very easy to go and bet the Suns. But like you said, after that huge line move, I don't really want to be on that side, and I don't want to be on the side that everybody's running to the window with.
Right.
So what you were saying about Ty Lue, the last game they played was versus Thunder. So the game before that was Miami, right?
Yeah. He was mad. They turned it over too much, yelled at the team, and then they turned it over just as much against OKC.
Well, OKC, I mean, they're the champs. They're a really good defensive team. That's what they do. They turn people over.
Right.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, well, actually Kawhi and James Harden, I think both played, or maybe it was just James Harden. No, Kawhi didn't play. Yeah, I'm not putting too much into that Thunder one. The Thunder can run anybody out the gym. This Suns team, we got to talk about it when they start laying points. I know they've been good at home,
Right.
but I just don't view this as that good of a team. You're also going to get another high usage player coming back into the lineup with Jalen Green playing his first game. Who knows how he throws off whatever rhythm they have going on over there in Phoenix. So what I am going to play here, I'll play Chris Paul over 15.5 PRA. And I mean, I'll give Russ credit. He's playing well right now. He looked damn good yesterday versus some backups and whatever. Maybe Chris Paul can turn the clock back too. I mean, he's getting dogged on Twitter. They're saying Chris Paul can go anywhere, but Westbrook was blackballed, and Chris Paul can only score 2 points, and everybody's talking about Chris Paul. In this game, or I'm sorry, they played once already, right? That was with Kawhi and James Harden. CP3 only played, or he played 19 minutes. That's the most he's played all season. He had 8 assists and he had 3 rebounds. He didn't score. I mean, between Kawhi and James Harden, I think they had 57. But there's no Kawhi, there's no James Harden today. There's a lot more opportunities to be had to score. And I think he'll get even more minutes than that 19 he got in that first meeting they had, because it's not enough bodies, not enough playmaking. So I can see him getting to the mid-range. I can see him pick and roll, finding everybody. He grabs these rebounds and pushes it, kicks it up ahead in transition too. I think this is a game where Chris Paul turns back the clock. You can look at him versus Phoenix since he's left. I think he averages 18.8 PRA, and that's with the game before last. He only had 1 PRA, and he still averages 18.8. So he's capable. He'll have the minutes. I'm not like everybody else who thinks he's absolutely done, can't do anything. I think he gets 16 PRA tonight. What do you think about that? And anything else on this one? Capper says Chris Paul's going to leave the tennis balls in the locker room today.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, it's hard to argue you off of that, Skee, especially since I don't play a ton of player props, so I won't put up too much resistance against the Chris Paul play. I would love to have been on Phoenix. I think the point being made when I was reading about the Ty Lue quotes was that Phoenix is number 5 in the NBA in steals, and if LA's turning it over that much, maybe Phoenix can capitalize on that because they're a steal team. They're not quite the OKC pressure team. Nobody is. but maybe they. But again, I just don't feel like laying 3 points with the Phoenix Suns at this point in time. So we'll see how it goes. Up.
My bad. Shout out to you, Capper, reminding everybody to hit the like button. Yeah, you guys don't want to hear me over here coughing and clearing my throat. So I got to hit that mute button. But if you guys could hit the like button, it would help out the show quite a bit. We would appreciate it. Brian is asking about Grayson Allen assist. He's questionable, first of all. So whatever injury he's dealing with, not a good. And outside of that, I mean, he's been hitting his assist number, but a lot of those minutes are going to be taken from him tonight with Jalen Green coming back into the lineup. So I would think a little bit more towards under on Grayson Allen if I would not over. Anything else? Was there another question on this game? I don't think so. Gilbert says Derrick Jones Jr. threes. Don't have any opinion there. And I think Gilbert says Gillespie threes. I think we can move on unless you have anything else on Clippers Suns.
Let's go, Skee. I'd never play on it, so I'm done.
All right, Raiders and Broncos, Thursday Night Football. Ooh. Open as a 9.5 point favorite for your boys over there, Rob Veno. Looks like 9. I mean, it's all over the place. I see an 8.5. I see a 9. I see a 9.5. I see a 10. I mean, just pick whatever you want in this game. You can get it. The total open 42.5, and that looks like 43. All right, so here's how I feel about this one, Rob Veno. These Broncos, in the words of my guy Jay Money, they are teetering on a loss. They just keep finding a way to barely pull it out. Like I feel like is overvalued the right word? I mean, they've almost been losing these games. Now you lose Surtain. I mean, that's gonna hurt that defense. I know you can get pressure, but you're not gonna have that coverage, or you're not gonna be able to shut off the side of the field or lock down whoever he locks down. I think that the Broncos passing defense can be had. I know Geno's looked bad as far as, he's throwing a lot of picks, all that stuff, but 9.5 points here for a Broncos team who, let's take a look at their game log. Only team that they beat by margin was the Cowboys, who have like almost the worst defense in the league, if not the worst, probably the worst. They beat the Texans by 3. They beat the Giants by 1 in a epic fourth quarter comeback, scoring 33 points. They beat the Jets by 2. They beat the Eagles by 4. I mean, that's a good win. But the point is, they're not winning these games by margin. And I know that the Raiders are not the greatest, but division game, giving me, 2 scores, I'm looking towards the Raiders here. Can you talk me off of the Raiders?
Now I'm going to ask you, can we start a Rob Veno, if you know category? Because I probably repeat myself too much on this,
team
right?
Total.
Denver's a bully offense, team total. Listen, it's such a step down in class from last week. Remember, we talked about the Broncos Texans, and we talked about how the pass rush on both sides was going to affect both quarterbacks. Denver winds up at it. It's a personal foul, but they did knock C.J. Stroud out of the game. Davis Mills came in. Denver did not have Patrick Surtain in that game. Didn't matter. They only allowed 15 points. You could argue maybe if C.J. was in the game, they could have scored 20. But that game wasn't going up and down the field, is my point at all. So for Denver, they faced a really good defense one more time. They did nothing on offense. Absolutely nothing. I say it all the time. But here, you get the Raiders, a team that allows 26.5 points, a team that inside the division this year has been beaten by double digits by the Chargers, 20-9, has been beaten by the Chiefs, 31-0. We had the Chiefs team total that day. They scored the first 5 times they had the ball, had that ticket cashed in the third quarter. They've scored 9 points total against AFC West defenses this year, KC and LA. And now Denver's just as good of a defense. So I don't want to divert to the side because I'm not even looking at this side. I'm looking totally at Denver's team total over 26.5. I'll say one last thing. That trade deadline came and went. And all the talk of Denver beat writers, of Denver media, et cetera, was they have to go out there. Rashid Shaheed was the guy they were looking at. They want, and Jalen Waddle was another. What they needed a wide receiver to add to this offense because it's just not as explosive. Sean Payton's answer to that: we have everything we need to win right in this building. If you believe that, you better go out and prove it 2 days after the trade deadline ended. So I'd expect Denver one more time, Skee, like they did against Cincinnati, like they did against Dallas, to score their points. Whether they win by 10, that's in question for sure. But I think they'll get over 26.5. I played it already. It's kind of systematic for me at this point. Play them team total under against the really good defenses, the elite defenses. Play them over against the poor defenses, which is LA or Las Vegas. Why do I keep calling them LA? Las Vegas.
Yeah, yeah, we if you know for sure. That's the Rob Veno. Like Capper says, Rob team total Veno. I like that one. And I'm looking at these prop numbers because I was waiting for them to move or just seeing where they have moved. Let me ask you a question here, Rob Veno. This is a general question, not specifically for this game. Do quarterbacks tend to run more, in your opinion, versus man coverage or zone?
Man, there's no question, man.
Because everybody's covering somebody. They got their back turned. They're just following them, right? Versus zone, they're just looking at you and looking at who's in front of them, right?
Right.
It hasn't necessarily been the case for Bo Nix and the Broncos. Like Sean Payton has said that he wants Bo Nix to pretty much go through your progressions. Don't be trying to look to get out early and run, or else you're going to miss the big play. And he said that too. And if you look at what he's done, I should pull it up here. If you look at what he's done, the first half of, I guess, the first 4 weeks, I'll say rather, he was running a lot, like 8 rushes, 7 rushes. Like he was running all the time whenever he could or wanted to. But in the past 5 weeks, not so much. He's sitting there taking his time, seeing who he can find, going through his progressions. And I asked you that question because look, and I can't pull it up here for some reason. My thing is tripping. But I went through the numbers, and he's the opposite. Maybe it's just because of what Sean Payton said and what he said, but he's not running versus man coverage. Like he hasn't cleared the 5.5 that we were looking at last night and earlier this morning. He hasn't cleared that versus man coverage. But he does clear it versus zone. And I just thought that was interesting to me. So maybe, does this make sense? You can tell me if I'm wrong. He's going through his progressions and he just knows, like, when you're in zone, it's not like they're following the guy around, they can break open. He knows when everything's over and he has to get out of there.
Right.
I think those are the only times he's choosing to run. And the Raiders are a team that plays a hell of a lot of zone. I think mostly zone the Raiders play. So yesterday his prop was 5.5. It was juiced to the under -170. Now it's dropped to 4.5. The over is -143, and the under is, my bad. Let me get it back here. The under is +110 on 4.5. I'm gonna pull this up on my phone, just because my computer is tripping right now. But I'm pretty sure he cleared 4.5 in all of those games versus a team in zone. So I was waiting for it to drop. I think at the -143 at 4.5 could be a reason to get in. Any thoughts while I look at this number really quick?
Yeah, I'll say a couple of things on that. And I'm just looking here. Last week, he only carried the ball 3 times against the Houston pass rush. That's really, really good. I tried to look it up while you were talking, Skee, and I can't find out exactly when it was, but I know it was back in the beginning of the year. Bo Nix took off and ran and got dinged and wound up in the concussion tent. Didn't have to sit out a week, got through the protocol, but I think it was at that point where Sean Payton stood up and said, obviously we can't afford to lose you. You got to sit back, read the progressions, and you go if you have to go, but you're not going to go at the rate you were going to start the season. I forget which game it was exactly. Like I said, I was trying to look it up, but it happened back towards the start of the season. And it kind of correlates with the numbers that you had where the drop off occurs. It's a lot of runs, and all of a sudden it's not many runs anymore. Going to be chased around a little bit by Max Crosby tonight, maybe. If you have to get out, you have to get out. Sometimes I think there was a game where they were coming from behind, the Eagles game, and I don't think he ran in that one much either, though. I'm trying to remember. Remember they were down like 14 in the fourth quarter, and they wound up winning that game against Philly in Philly. So I could see your point. I think, and I won't say it's not because of man or zone, but I will say I think it's because of the game where he got into the concussion tent and Sean Payton kind of put his foot down, so to speak, and said, we're not going to do this all season long because you're not going to be around for 17 games. And that may be the reason why he doesn't take off as much as possible. So, yeah, that's a huge drop on a sack total, though, for the number from 5.5 down, a full sack to 4.5. They're giving you
Rushing
rush
attempts,
attempts. Yeah, they're giving you plus money on it now. But to see it fall, a rushing attempt number to fall by one full is, I don't know. I don't study him that much, but it seems like a lot.
Well, it's because people like to bet the streaks, and he stayed under 5.5 in 5 straight games, right? And like you said, they've been focused on not running. 2 of those games landed exactly on 5.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe this is one I'll think about a little bit more, but I'm definitely looking at Bo Nix rushing prop one way or the other. And even in the games, like he's been running less, but he's been more efficient. Like the Texans game, I had him over 20.5 rushing yards. He only ran 3 times, but he cleared that. So yeah, I'm gonna think about it a little bit longer, but just wanted to talk it out a little bit here.
Raiders
Um,
pressure rate, Ski, real quick. The Raiders quarterback pressure rate is one of the lowest in the league. And if he's got time to sit back there tonight, maybe it does stay under his rushing attempt total because they're likely to run against Las Vegas, which doesn't play good run defense. So, fundamentally, maybe it sets up as a rush attempt under game. But we'll see. I know that Peyton doesn't want him getting hurt. That's for sure.
100%. All right, Vino. I don't think we're gonna get too in depth today, but let's just see if there's anything that stands out a little bit. Talk a little bit of things out for week 10, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. My bad. Let me pull up the NFL on my eye screen here. Without even pulling it up, you know who we got to talk about, Rob Veno. Them Chargers laying the points again, man.
That's your category. If you know. I learned that over the years.
Yeah, it opened 3.5. It's come down. I understand why it's coming down. This Chargers team, they look really good. They look good, however you want to call it, when Joe Alt is on the field. When he's not, oh my God. Herbert got to run for his life. He got about 1.5 seconds to throw. The opposing team is living in the backfield. The Chargers have won one game without Joe Alt. I think they've lost 3 or 4, something like that. 3, I think, actually. They lost 3 without him. 1-1. I would ask how good Pittsburgh's D-line is. Are they going to be able to take advantage and get after them? If they are, it's hard to look any other way than the Steelers. If they can't, maybe the Chargers can withstand for a game. What do you think?
Well, you have TJ Watt on the other side, and nobody gets after it like TJ Watt. And if he's going to pick on it's a shame for the Chargers, Ski, because they can hold up when it was only Joe Walt. They lost Rashawn Slater, and that was bad news to start the season, but they still had Joe Walt as the other tackle. Then they lost him. Like you say, we saw what happened, got him back better, lose him again. That offensive line has to be reshifted, and they just don't protect, to your point, without either one of those guys. You could pick on either side of that offensive line right now, wherever they want to line up. I'm sure, listen, Mike Tomlin's a hell of a lot smarter than I am when it comes to devising a defense, but he's going to go right to that film and figure out where to put TJ Watt and where they're going to overload pressure if they come with corners or, out linebackers, whatever. I agree with you. It's going to be figured out. And Pittsburgh's not the greatest defense in the world. We've seen it. But I think what's the worst thing about them is their pass defense. And if Justin Herbert doesn't have the time, it's going to be difficult. So I can totally see your point. I will say this. I'm a little surprised that the total has come down to 44 and a half. Seems to me the Chargers have been involved in higher scoring games this year. Pittsburgh definitely has been involved in higher scoring games. But it could be that they just, the market doesn't think or expect LA to meet offensive expectations here. So bet it under. There's no way we're laying points with the Chargers.
Nope. And I would just say if they can't block, how are they going to score? So,
but they could turn it over.
That's true. Very, very true. Very, very true. Let's see what else is standing out here. Very hard to look any other way than Detroit. They've been amazing off of a loss. They've been dominant in general. Backup quarterback for Washington. I mean, I don't think we've got to talk about that too much, but Detroit, I mean, can you talk me off that?
No, I mean, I was wondering what Jaden Daniels was doing in a blowout game in the fourth quarter, and they got what they deserved, kind of. I hate to say it that way. It's probably a better way to say it, but hey, Dan Quinn, what were you thinking, dude? It's crazy.
Absolutely. The Cardinals and the Seahawks, man, Seahawks have been so good, it's hard to fade them. But one thing I'll say is Seahawks pass defense, they can be had. Their run defense is pretty amazing. The thing is, the Cardinals don't really have a run game. Like, yeah, they were running last game because they just got such a big lead. They're just trying to milk the clock. But all their running backs are hurt. Jacoby Brissett, I do like him. I like him more than Kyler Murray. I think he makes the offense a hell of a lot better. It's just still, and the Cardinals defense, I feel like they can stand up a little bit. The slightest of lean to the Cardinals. And also, Jacoby pass attempts are appealing to me. Seahawks allowing like a little bit over 40 pass attempts per game. And I just told you, pass defense, not the best, bottom 10 maybe. Run defense, top 5. I mean, if I'm the Cardinals, if I'm Jacoby Brissett, I'm airing that thing out. So either the Cardinals, Jacoby attempts, are ways I'm looking. What you think?
What's going to make it hard on the Cardinals is that Rashid Shaheed will probably play in this game, and now you have JSN and him at wide receiver. It's a difficult assignment for their pass defense. I think inside the division here with San Francisco 6-2, with the Rams 6-2, with Seattle 6-2, you can't be losing to the Cardinals. If you want to, if this tiebreaker is going to come into play somehow, some way, it would look at this point in time. Doesn't mean you have to win by 7, but I do think Seattle wins the game. I just wonder now the way Sam Darnold might be the hottest quarterback in the NFL right now. The way he's
damn good
up and down, like you say, they're down to Arizona's down to DeMarcado as the running back at this point in time. Mike McDonald, the head coach of Seattle, had said, I don't know if it was before week 1 or after week 1, because he comes from Baltimore. Remember, he was the Ravens DC, and he said, we're going to make it so that you can't run against us. That was first and foremost, and it's been that way. You don't run on them. So bad down in distance could hurt Jacoby here. I love the way he's played, much better than how Kyler played to lead this team. I just don't know. Maybe Seattle, it's hard to say that they're underrated at this price in a division game, but I do think they'll win the game. Whether or not they win by 7 is a question mark.
Fair enough. I am looking at the playoff situation here before I move to this next game. I want to ask, I mean, Patriots and Bucks. Patriots have looked good, but I know their schedule has been so easy. Their pass defense is ass. And I mean, Baker Mayfield on the other side coming off of a bye. This was a team that desperately needed that bye, right? They were, I mean, I know we don't have Mike. I'm saying we. I know they don't have Mike Evans anymore, but the other guys get a little bit healthier, and they're second in the NFC. I'm pretty sure they would like to maintain that. I think the Bucks are just better than the Patriots. I just feel like the Patriots, they're looking like this because they're playing bums, or their schedule is just so easy. So I'm trying to find ways to back the Buccaneers. How do you feel about it?
I agree. I really do. It's on their home field. I think the bye week was important. You probably get Godwin back, Egbuka is back, and Baker Mayfield has shown that he can go. They can go three, four receivers deep, and he can still be effective because these guys have been injured in some shape, way, shape, or form collectively all season long. But the offensive line is back and as healthy as it's been the entire season. There was some problems with Tristan Wirfs, the left tackle, early. I think this offense, Skee, to me, moves on anybody. I think New England will have a tough time against this offense. Defensively, this is another team that you don't run against. And for what it's worth, I mean, Drake May has been great. But if you can't get a running game going, these quarterbacks tend to struggle a little bit. So I agree with you. I thought under a field goal on their home field, in need of a victory, coming off a bye. Carolina's actually at least supplying a little bit of pressure where the division is concerned. I think they're 5-4 right now, so you got to have a win. Non-conference game for the Patriots, and the same for the Bucks. But I think Tampa Bay's the right side. At under a field goal, I could totally see that.
All right. Is it? I mean, I took the Ravens from the game before Lamar came back. We know they need to keep winning for these playoff chances, etc. They're on the road in Minnesota. Is there any reason to talk me off of continuing to back Baltimore once again at this short number?
I love their offense, and I think you know what,
Their
somebody,
defense getting healthier.
yeah, because I remember somebody in the comments section last week, and then you pointed out first, and I followed you that you know what, they are not giving up points. Now, last week was a little bit shaky because they gave up a lot of yards. They didn't give up points, but they gave up a lot of yards in that game last week. So I don't know if the defense is fully there yet. Minnesota certainly can take advantage with their receiving core. To me, it seems like a high scoring game. I always trust the Ravens offense, Skee. If nothing else, I totally trust that with Henry, Lamar, the passing game. They're going to get theirs no matter who it's against. This total's been bumped from 46.5 all the way to 49 right now. I just want to check real fast. Raven team total here is 24.5. For that matter, Minnesota's only 21.5. I don't know. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. I really do. I think it gets up and down here. JJ McCarthy, I tell you what, I'm not a believer, but he did pull it out last week and he looked fairly decent doing it. So I'm going to stick by over in that one. I hadn't really looked at that game thoroughly, but I think that game's going to get up and over the total because I really trust the Raven offense. Up, you're muted.
Yeah, we both will probably be trusting the Ravens in that one. I mean, that's all I think I want to talk about today, unless there's anything else that's catching your attention.
Yeah, we can get it tomorrow if we think of something. Looks good.
All right, Cashville. He's reminding everybody to hit the like button. It says 100 plus live viewers with a disrespectful amount of likes. Make it happen, fam. Appreciate you, Cashville. It definitely will help the show. All right, Vino. I need to go drink some water, some tea, or something. So it's time to get to best bets. I will put this up here because it expires, I think, in a couple of days, right? Weekend Warrior. And if you want to rock with either of us, you can get every football play we make Saturday, Sunday, and Monday Night Football included, or college plays on Monday. I think are included in that as well. Only $49. So, with that said, Robino, I'm going to pass it to you. I'll ask you if there's anything else you would like to promote, and if you have a best bet for the show, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, the Weekend Warrior, obviously, Skee, so I won't repeat that. We got one game. It's an NBA show. We got one game here that we're staring at. So I'll go back to the NFL if it's okay with everybody and just tell you what I bet. I bet the Broncos team total over 26.5. I think it probably gets to 27 plus against the Raiders here. They couldn't stop KC. Got beat by 11 by the Chargers. I think the Chargers only got to 20 in that game, but it was a little more the Chargers stubbing their toe than the Raiders defense. So give me Broncos until they prove me wrong, Skee. I'm going to play Broncos team total against these bad defenses over 26.5.
All right. And for me, I'll go to the association. I'm going to rock with Chris Paul tonight, man. 15.5 PRA. He's going to have a lot of minutes, a lot of opportunity out there. A lot of scoring missing, a lot of playmaking missing as well with no Harden, no Kawhi. I think he will take advantage. So Chris Paul, 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists will be my best bet for the show. And also, if you're interested, I forgot to say, but I do have a 5% prop up and available for this weekend. And my NFL props this season are 7-2. So yeah, if you'd like to be involved, you can find it on my page or get the Weekend Warrior. That's included. It's only $14 more, and you'll get wherever else I release. Veno, I appreciate you taking the time to cap these games with me. We'll be back doing it again tomorrow. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you guys as well. And best of luck on all your action. I'm going to go get better, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.